Would you go to Irvine to see McFoley, or would you go to Tempe?
Good God, both of them are work
I know.
on my part.
But you could see your parents if you went to Tempe.
True. The only reason I would see him in Irvine is because it's just an easier drive.
It is, but it's always obnoxious to go into Orange County.
Do not like going behind the orange curtain, especially the methy bits.
Yeah.
The suburbs are bad enough.
I
but the
know,
methy
right?
bits are just the worst. Tempe, I do get to, like, hang out at home.
Yeah, it's a college town, too.
Right. Like, Tempe's a cool town. I remember when I was in high school lying and pretending to be a college student. I spent a lot of time in Tempe. One of my favorite things, there's like a little art house theater, Spike and Mike's Twisted Animation Festival.
Yeah.
That was when I saw Beavis and Butthead for the first time. Mike Judge's short frog baseball.
Oh my God, indie culture. Oh, remember when we had so much of it?
Right? And it was funny, like a year later, Mike Judge sold Beavis and Butthead to MTV on the strength of that short. Yeah. And I remember going to school like my junior year and everybody's like, oh my God, Beavis and Butthead. Yes. Did you not see the Spike and Mike?
Yeah.
Yes, Frog Baseball was that original show. It's very cool.
Yes. It's culture, you understand.
It's very cosmopolitan with my trashy
very
cartoons. In case you didn't know where you are, I am Samara.
And I am Jeannie.
And this
is Talk Deadly to Me. Yes.
Now time for the sordid tale.
The dirty, greasy tale.
It is. It's actually...
It's a dirty, greasy rat tale of a couple.
Every time I finish typing, I feel very sticky.
I know. Itchy. Like, oh, do I have critters?
Yeah, it's a very not good feeling.
Yeah.
So when we last left off, David had confessed to Kim, the private eye that was surveilling him.
Yes.
That he had killed.
I mean, he's come so close so many times to telling the women in his life what he's done.
He did tell that married woman that he went out with, but he swore her to secrecy.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, she never told.
I know. That was so... I still get the chills.
But Kim is a different story. He is into her.
Yeah.
And Kim has been like, gee, David, we could take this to the next level, but I feel you're keeping secrets.
She's so good at her job.
She was shook by his confession.
I can't imagine that's an easy thing to hear, even if you're looking for it. Yeah.
Shook it.
He shook her all night
long. Oh, murdery confessions, you.
Yeah. Didn't she think he was a sap, though?
She did. She it's interesting because Kim is developing a soft spot for David. Not so much that she's not going to do her job.
Yeah.
Let's be clear.
Yeah.
But she just sees him as this, like, goofy, sad sack.
Yeah. She's genuinely getting to know him.
Lost puppy of a man who is looking for, like...
Yeah, look at this mess that a good woman could fix.
Like, he's looking for meaning and purpose in all the wrong places. And coming from her own complicated background.
True.
Like, we don't have a lot of time for it, but, like, she came from a two-parent dysfunctional home, similar to where he did. She ran away to the military, too.
Yeah.
And had all of her adventures, so in some ways... She understands him.
Yeah. I feel like she's way cooler. Being in the Air Force made the difference.
Oh, she is way cooler. She is way cooler. But she does have a certain understanding for him. And she's developed a soft spot.
Understandable.
Even though she's just going to do her job.
Yeah.
Because through all of this, she only thought David had something to do with it. Maybe he drove Cindy. Maybe Cindy told him about it.
Got her the gun.
Something.
Yeah.
She never expected David to be the trigger man.
Yeah.
She really didn't. And it took her legit by surprise.
Wow.
Now, the cops and the other PIs that are listening in are beyond excited.
The little tails are wagging.
Oh my God.
Thump, 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 thump.
It's like you would think that you were like rubbing Bruce's tummy in just the right way.
Yes,
when he gets the
leg is going.
Yes, all of their tummies are being itched just right.
Yes.
But, so, the cops and the PIs, they're very excited. Atta girls all around.
Yeah.
But Kim feels bad.
Oh, yeah? Bless her heart.
She knows that David trusts her.
Yeah.
She knows that David loves her.
Yeah.
Oh, he's dropped an L-bomb on her a couple of
I
times.
don't doubt it.
He's dropped the L-bomb on her. He's pressuring her to meet Buddy, the abusive brother-in-law, that he needs to ask permission to properly date her. I think he's asked her to move in at least once.
Yeah.
They've known each other like maybe 3 months.
Yeah.
Maybe. So she feels bad because she knows his feelings for her are real.
And she's a good person.
And legitimate.
So she doesn't take, like, pleasure out of stringing the sad sack along.
Right. But, yeah, she's feeling bad. But as excited as everybody is, the DA wants more information, more tape on David. This is good, but we need more.
Yeah.
Like, get him to tell you where the gun is.
Yeah.
Get him to tell you something tangible.
Yeah.
So a day after the confession, the DA takes the tapes to the grand jury. David and Cindy would be indicted for the murder of the Campbells in secret.
Nice.
And that's because the DA wants more tape.
Yeah.
It's a good case, but he wants more, and he wants, like I said, tangible evidence.
Yeah.
Specifically, tangible evidence against Cindy.
Yes.
David, we got dead to rights. It almost doesn't matter if they find the gun or anything where David is concerned. They want Cindy.
Yeah.
They want her bad.
Yeah, she's such an obnoxious bitch.
So Kim is down to finish the job, but she doesn't want to go back to David's house. She knows that he's got a small arsenal.
Yes.
In his shack.
Yeah.
And if shit goes left,
yeah,
she knows that he's the type of person that would try to shoot it out.
Yeah. He's done it before.
Yeah. When somebody was just looking for an address and he squeezed off a couple of rounds because they passed his house too many times. Yeah. People are allowed to get lost, David. Yeah. People are allowed to get lost.
But he is the definition of trigger happy.
And not take me alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm skipping ahead a little bit, but he is another one that is disproportionately afraid of prison rape.
That makes sense. I mean, these tough guys are not very tough.
To which I say you are not that cute.
I know, right?
Or that special.
I don't know if I've told you, but whenever you talk about him, I picture Napoleon Dynamite's brother. Yes. Duh. I just, like, it makes so much sense to me why so many pity this guy. But he is an absolute psycho.
But it's like, you're not cute. You're not special. Mm-mm. And guess what? There are plenty of good-looking gay men in prison that would be willing to give it up.
Exactly.
They don't need you.
Yeah.
No. But it's cute that you think that everybody wants it, David.
I know.
It's cute that you think that. So it was decided in their next meeting, when Kim, the DA, and the cops and everybody get together, their next meeting would have to be in public. They thought that Kim was right.
Yeah.
If she's not willing to risk going back into that house because of the kind of arsenal that he has, they weren't going to fight her on that.
Yeah. Trust your instincts.
Yeah. And they know she's not lying. I mean, they know enough about him to know that he's he thinks of himself as a cowboy.
Yeah.
Type shit. Cool. Everybody on the team, like I said, they knew about David's love for guns and military shit, and they didn't want to risk him or the case by trying to arrest him at home. Because again, he's got so much shit.
Yeah.
It could go real left real quick with somebody with that many guns.
He's absolutely the type to barricade himself.
He's got grenades, girl.
He does?
Yeah, I don't know how or where. But he got hand grenades.
Man.
Probably left over from like when he went to Morocco or wherever the hell.
Yeah, I mean, you can get them, but it's just like, God damn it. God damn.
So Cindy was going to meet, Kim was going, I'm so used to saying Cindy.
I know, right?
It wasn't Cindy, it was Kim. Kim was going to meet David for lunch and then drive to a more secluded spot to talk. Then Kim was supposed to rile David up by bringing up that Cindy had already gotten her settlement.
Ooh.
And David still had nothing.
Yeah.
From there, Kim was supposed to insist on having a meeting with Cindy, and if David refused to take Kim to Cindy, then she was going to pull into a convenience store and run like hell and just let the cops make the arrest.
Good plan.
At this point, Kim knows David so well that she knows what bar he's drinking at.
Mm-hmm.
And she was a little bit shocked to find out that he wasn't drunk yet.
Oh.
He's a heavy drinker.
Yeah.
If he's at a bar, he's drinking.
Yeah.
And part of her plan to get him to talk and to rile him up depends on him being a little tipsy.
Okay.
Loose lips.
Yeah, sink ships.
Right? When he confessed, he was horny, love-struck, and drunk.
Yes.
So she's got to find, but not so drunk that, like, he wasn't so drunk that a defense attorney could say that it was inadmissible. But he was tipsy.
That is a fine line.
Yeah. So her end of this plan really is dependent on getting him back to that same level of tipsy.
Yeah.
And so when she calls him at the bar, this is the 80s, so she had to literally call, Joe's Bar Shack?
Yeah.
Hi, is David West there? Who's David West? Tall guy, thin, big stupid head, bug eyes.
Yeah.
One brown eye, one blue.
Yeah.
Looks like a military idiot.
Yeah.
Him? Is he there? Oh yeah, here. David. Like, you had to do that.
Back in the day.
Mm-hmm. But it is a testament to how well she got to know him that she could pinpoint the bar.
Yeah. She is very good at her job.
And Kim's worried because when she first calls him, David is pressing her to meet him at the house.
Oh.
He was like, oh yeah, come over. I'm leaving here right now. She goes back and forth with him a little bit, but in the end, he's like, all right, just come down to the bar. Come to find out, the only reason David wasn't drunk is because he was drinking coffee at the bar.
Huh.
And the only reason he was drinking coffee at the bar is because coffee was free.
Yeah. Oh, God.
And he had no money for anything else, but he's compelled to be in a bar.
Wow. Free coffee. Wow. I can't.
He's down to his last 20 until payday, so he's literally just sitting in this bar,
Yeah.
chugging their free coffee.
Man, you have to go to a cult meeting nowadays
Man.
to get free coffee.
Although there is one bar down the street from me. It is, it's a Chicano bar. A lot of the day laborers around town go there. I went there a few times. I went there once on a date with a guy that looked like Sting and David Bowie had a baby.
Which Sting?
Wrestler Sting.
Okay.
And
Nice.
David Bowie
Nice.
had a baby. And it was this guy. And he was British, which just added to the whole thing. We're sitting there, we're chugging beers, and by like 11 o'clock, the bar mistress came out with these homemade tacos.
Ooh.
And fed us all for free.
Oh, that is awesome.
So that we could keep drinking. There's a method to her madness, bitch.
Yeah.
Because we're all chugging all these beers. We're getting tipsy. Can't let us get too drunk.
I know, you got to give them a landing pad for more.
Exactly. So she fed us all tacos.
Nice.
And I was here for all of it. Only went out with that guy twice. He ended up being a little weird. But Wrestler Sting and David Bowie, baby.
Nice.
It went bad.
Good job, God. Good job.
Yeah. The spiky hair and everything.
Nice.
In gray. It was a Sting haircut, but gray.
Nice.
Because I like a silver fox.
Right?
After Kim picked David up at the bar, she suggested that they go to dinner. David was like, baby, I got $20 till payday. And she's like, that's okay, I'll pay.
Yay. Ooh, red letter day for him.
6 of one, half dozen of the other. He's willing to let her pay, but he doesn't like the fact that she always has money and he doesn't.
Yeah.
He's not a man.
Brr.
I mean, hey. So then when they got to dinner, David is pissed that she took him to some frou-frou hipster bar.
Yeah.
Like,
How dare she?
Like, he's like, I can't even buy a cup of water here. And you don't take me here.
Yeah.
Really? Because she wanted to kind of get him off his game. And she can't get him drunk yet.
Yeah.
She wants to throw him off his equilibrium. None of the places where he feels familiar.
Yeah.
Or where he might want to start a fight. Like, he'll start a fight anywhere.
Yeah.
But he is more likely to be on his better behavior. at one of these frou-frou bars. So they get their table, and David confessed to Kim that after their conversation the night before, he slept good for the first time in 2 years.
Wow. Oh my goodness. I believe it.
It had been weighing on him. I think really this all falls apart because David underestimated how much of a toll taking a life weighs on your mind, on your spirit, on your soul.
Oh, yeah.
Like, even if you don't believe in that type of shit, it weighs on you.
Yeah. I mean, clearly. I mean, it's easy to shit talk and to fantasize and play act, but when it's real and they're never coming back.
And you did it.
Yeah.
You're responsible for it.
And people are looking.
Yeah.
Looking into it, looking for you.
And you've traumatized children, you've ruined a family.
Yeah.
And for what?
Yeah, I know literally nothing.
You still ain't got a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of.
Waiting for that settlement. Waiting and waiting forever.
Honestly, he doesn't want the money.
Really?
Not now, he doesn't.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like, it's fucking with him so bad that he just wants to wash his hands of the whole thing. If Cindy gives him money, I guess that's fine, but that's why he's not pressing her for it. He is so fucked up behind committing these murders that he's not even ready to take the payout.
Yeah.
Fuck it. So, while they're waiting on their food, David is starting to get annoyed that Kim is back to talking about Cindy. Kim had been on him about helping Cindy for almost 2 months now. And he had hoped that the confession would bring him and Kim closer together so that she could quit talking about Cindy. For her part, Kim told David that while she loved him deeply, Elvis, I'm the one, baby.
Yeah.
This is it. Me and you, sweetness.
Yeah.
She was worried that Cindy would ruin their relationship by turning David in.
Oh. Yeah, work that paranoia.
She knows too much, baby.
Yeah.
I love you. I want to be with you.
I don't want to lose you.
But I don't want to be married and 3 kids in to have this bitch turn up and ruin our life.
This emotional terrorist.
With this shit that you told me last night. I don't want to get that deep with you and have this crazy bitch show up.
Yeah. Very legitimate.
But David assured Kim that he and Cindy would never betray each other. Sure. And that was when Kim dropped a bomb and told David, you can't trust Cindy. David's like, nonsense.
She's simple. You don't understand.
Cindy was, she's a lot.
Yeah.
But she would never turn David in. Kim asked David, have you ever bothered to look into the stories about the inheritance?
Ooh.
Have you bothered?
Yeah, of
Where's your money?
Not.
David tried to steer Kim off the subject, saying that Cindy could tell them, he's like, whatever. And she's like, nah, not whatever. I'm trying to build a life with you, guy. And she's the only thing that could fuck up us being together and happy. Like, Cindy could tell you anything about anything, and there'd be nothing we could do about it. If she decides that she wants you out of the way.
Yep.
David was like, bro, I'm thinking about washing my hands of this money altogether. It is too much trouble.
Yeah.
That's why I said it's wearing on him to the point where he's like, fuck that money.
Yeah.
That's when Kim took her opening and asked David, has Cindy told you that she's gotten her money?
I know he doesn't want the money, but I wish I could see his face.
David was like, she ain't got no money. She's fighting the lawyers. Her sisters and her uncle are being dicks. They're still fighting over the estate. And he's sprouting all of Cindy's nonsense.
Yeah, the party line.
Kim shut him up and said, she lies. She has her money. Mm-hmm. David still, no.
Yeah, it can't possibly be true.
Kim said she knew for a fact that Cindy had gotten the money and David needed to follow up with the probate court himself. Mm-hmm. Kim explained that Cindy had settled early, gotten her share. It was all public record.
Yep, that is true.
David didn't believe Kim. He felt that if Cindy had gotten a dime, he would have heard something from either her or his mother. Mm-hmm. But Kim just keeps it pushing. And she was, even after David tried to say that Cindy had gotten the apartment but no cash, and because he believes everything Cindy says.
Yeah.
Kim explained that her brother-in-law, the fake brother-in-law that David needs to impress to actually be able to date her that he's not met yet, that guy?
Yeah.
That her brother-in-law had heard about the case, right? Been in the papers on and off for 2 years.
Yeah.
Her brother-in-law heard about the case, put 2 and 2 together, then took Kim to the courthouse to check it out. Campbell family. Doesn't my fake sister-in-law got a guy that used to date a Cindy Campbell? Let's go check on this Cindy Campbell. Is it that Cindy Campbell?
Yeah, inquiring minds must know.
David's trying to play it cool, but he is seeing red.
Yeah.
Not because Cindy may have gotten her money, but he is pissed off and offended that the woman he loves has the nerve to look into him.
Oh.
If you love me, why are you looking into me?
Yeah.
I wouldn't lie, I love you.
Ooh.
And Kim is like, fuck you. I don't trust Cindy.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't either. And if we're going to move on to this and deepen this relationship, you're asking me to move in. You're talking about marriage and babies with me one day and creating our own little Aryan nation of chrome-eyed babies.
Yeah.
Then I got every right to look into it.
True.
Every fucking right. And fuck you for telling me I shouldn't. That's also what David likes about Kim. That she can cuss.
Yeah.
And talk military jargon.
Yeah.
But be very feminine.
She's perfect.
Perfect. The conversation ended with David telling Kim, look, I'll kill myself before I spend a day in jail. But she's got him thinking now.
Yeah.
As David and Kim talked, he had no idea that the cops were sitting in a car outside of a restaurant listening in. Kim's wired.
Yeah.
Not only is she wired, she's got the batteries in her recorders has to be changed every 3 hours or something like that. And she's got 4 backup batteries in her purse. Yeah. She is to the hilt.
Yeah.
She is wired up. So David starts giving Kim and the cops more of the details of the murder.
Excellent.
To illustrate how many ways from Sunday, how crazy Cindy is. How many different crazy ways from Sunday.
Yeah.
She is. And that he could prove it. He could prove that she's nuts.
Yeah.
He's not worried about Cindy trying to betray him. Or trying to turn him in, because he'll just come out with all these crazy Cindy stories to prove that she's a nutbag that can't be trusted. Then he said, but doesn't feel bad about killing the Campbells because they were horrible people and it was the right thing to do. And he's a little squishy about Virginia, but he's trying to stand firm in it.
For the sake of his sanity.
But David did admit to Kim, by now they have gone through almost 2 bottles of wine.
Wow.
So that's why the conversation is starting to flow. Oh, he's upset that his woman has to pay for him.
Yeah.
But he ain't
checked up on him.
He ain't so pressed that he ain't drink 2 bottles of her good wine, though.
He earned it.
He ain't that pressed, girl. Chivalry ain't dead. It's just on life support because he'll take that wine.
Amen.
David did admit to Kim that the murders had forced him to change his opinion of himself. But he still felt that he was a good person.
Yeah.
a flawed person. Maybe too moral of a person.
What?
He killed these people because they were fucking with his girlfriend and molesting her and stealing and beating her. Morally, the right thing to do to stop Cindy's abuse was to kill them. Since he couldn't,
That's a crazy way to spin it, but I see.
But that's what
it makes sense.
Yeah, he's changed his view of himself, that he's damaged.
Yeah.
And he shouldn't have been able to go through with it. But he still feels that he's a decent and good person that did the right thing.
Yeah.
Even though the right thing was very difficult.
Yeah. Too moral.
Too moral of a person. Now Kim is freaking out inside because David is talking too free and too loose. And now she's like, is David going to kill me?
I mean, good question.
Because, people that have killed before usually aren't... What have we learned from the Iceman?
Yeah, true.
When he starts telling you too much, be worried.
Yeah, be very, very scared. Make plans. Make exit plans immediately.
David switched gears to tell Kim that he didn't think Cindy would live another 5 years.
Oh.
He said that she's too dependent on him, his mom, and her family for everything. She doesn't take care of herself.
True.
She drinks too much. She smokes too much. I hear she's developed a pill problem since we broke up.
Not a bad estimate, actually.
So yeah, he's not meaning it like in a nefarious, I'm probably going to take her out in like 5 years. It's like the bare facts are that she's already nuts.
Yeah.
She doesn't take care of herself.
Yeah.
She is dependent on me, my mother, and whatever family will still deal with her for her basic living expenses, food, water, clothing. She's a pill popper now. She drinks too much. She smokes too much. She don't have to worry about me coming after her.
Yeah.
She might just kill herself in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
But he did admit that he had thought about killing Cindy. But in the end, he decided against it. It's already been too much violence. Too much violence.
Yeah.
Too much bloodshed.
I'm glad he has his limit.
It's not worth it. But he'll still street fight people. That's what's funny. He'll fight you in the street, but when it comes down to the Campbells, it's too much.
Beating up people he can live with.
Too much violence. Too much pain. Too much bloodshed.
Yeah.
But he did think about it. He just decided it wasn't worth the additional mental anguish was not worth it. So he's telling her all this shit. So Kim was like, have you ever thought about killing me? Shit. Loose lips.
Right?
We were talking about moral murders and shit. You're thinking about killing me too? David reached across the table, grabbed Kim's slender hand with the long red fingernails, said, baby, I would never hurt you. I would kill Cindy and then myself before I ever laid a finger on you.
Deal! I accept.
That's how much I care.
Yeah.
I will murder suicide with a whole different bitch.
Ugh.
Before I hurt you.
Creepy. I mean, I accept, but
he's holding Kim's hand like, no, baby, no.
I would kill for you.
Like, is that supposed to be romantic? Because that doesn't make me feel better.
In this weird, sick, twisted world, this is courting. He is courting her hard.
I told you, he's asked her to move in at least once. And they've known each other like just north of 90 days.
Man, 90-day fiance indeed. 90-day fiasco.
Right? Because you figure it took her at least 1 month to get a line on David to get his attention. He's complaining that she's been bitching about Cindy for 2 months.
Yeah.
So 90 days. Yeah. And he's like dropping L-bombs, move into this ramshackle roach rat infested shack with me.
I'm emotionally vulnerable and desperate.
Right?
Yeah.
Kim took a break to go to the bathroom so that she could stop shaking.
Yeah.
Possibly throw up.
Yeah. Oh, the adrenaline must be just
maybe
coursing.
take a piss. Fart.
Yes.
I feel like all of the bodily functions, like the guts are churning, and you don't know where it's gonna come out from.
Yeah.
But you need to just be in a bathroom.
Yeah, the anxiety needs an outlet.
Yeah. And she had to change her batteries because it had been over 3 hours, so she needed to change a battery just in case.
Dear God, I don't want to do this again.
But when she got back to the table, David was telling her all about how he was soldier mode.
Oh, God.
The night he committed the murders. It was easy. Yeah. Because I'm a soldier boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But she had already seen how sweet David could be. And she shouldn't be worried.
Yeah.
Kim agreed that she was not worried that David would hurt her because he loves her and she loves him.
Yes.
She's not worried. But the fact was that he is trying to get laid after confessing to murder for a second time, and it made her goddamn skin crawl.
Yeah.
Now, she didn't tell him that.
Yeah.
But in her head, she's like, motherfucker, no.
Don't touch me.
You still trying to fuck up.
Yeah.
You just told me about soldier mode.
I know.
And murder-suicides.
It's how he flirts.
And moral murders.
I know, right?
And you still trying to hit it. I think she, like, if her skeleton could crawl out, like, if she could just, like, open up the top of her head and quite literally crawl out of her skin.
Wriggle out.
And then just go get another skin suit somewhere else.
Yeah.
She would have. The skin is gone. The skin has been touched by David West. I don't want it no more.
Yeah. It's tainted.
They finally left the restaurant, and Kim decided to use getting cigarettes as a reason to stop at a convenience store. She ain't doing this no more. She is tapped. Yeah. She is done. Remember, she's a junior PI.
Yes.
She was barely
like her second, third case.
Yeah, she was barely getting any cases or any assignments. The more seasoned people weren't taking her seriously, and now here she is.
Yeah.
In the thick of a murder confession. She needs out.
Yeah.
Out, damn spot.
Yes.
Out. So they leave. They are driving to go get cigarettes. Finally, they pull into a Circle K.
Yeah.
I mean, like, she had really specific instructions on, like, what side of the street to pull on.
Yeah.
What kind of convenience store is the right type. Someplace with a big parking lot. Da-da-da-da-da. So it was to her discretion of where to stop.
Yeah.
But she had, like, parameters of what would make the best place for the arrest that wouldn't get anybody hurt.
Yeah.
So they pull into a Circle K. Kim leaves the car running. And she tells David, watch the car for me. Being very cute. As soon as she was out of eye shot, cops rush in. And David Duvall West is arrested without incident.
Oh, thank God.
I mean, there was some, whoa, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And there was that.
Yeah.
But there was no fisticuffs.
No barricading.
No gunshots. No grenades.
No unaliving by cop.
Yeah, no knives.
Yay.
Nothing. Just, he was legit shocked. He was shook. he was like, what? The murderer? Who that lifted? What?
Because he's underestimated every woman he's ever met.
Yes. Oh, Jeannie, it's time to button this thing up.
Ooh, man, this has been a saga.
It has been a journey.
All right, let's run these fools into jail.
So seeing David get arrested was a rough one for Kim.
Yeah.
She knew she did the right thing.
Yes.
She knew she did her job.
Mm-hmm.
And she was relieved to get David off the streets and get justice for the Campbell family.
Yeah.
But she couldn't help but think of David as like this brilliant idiot that had been taken for a ride by the ultimate scam artist.
I mean,
I mean, brilliant idiot is putting a little bit too fine a point on
funny.
it. But because he does fancy himself like a tough intellectual.
Yeah.
And that's what she's like, this brilliant idiot.
Yeah.
Just got played by an even bigger idiot.
Yes.
He got played by a bigger, less competent idiot.
Yes.
Christ.
That's rough.
Another PI could tell that Kim was shaken, so he went into the Circle K and bought her a beer.
Yeah.
Oh, she was like sitting in the corner, like, oh. He said the adrenaline, same adrenaline that made her want to crawl out of her skin, gave her the bubble guts, had to piss, had everything turning against her.
Yep.
Now it's all rushing out of her body.
Yeah.
The job is done, and she has got the shakes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, her buddy got her a beer. Coincidentally, it's the same buddy that helped get her into the PI visits in the first place. Mm-hmm. The guy that she was, like, spying on longshoremen with to see if their disability claims were real.
Yeah.
As David's being led away, he locked eyes with Kim. She looked at him, raised her beer can, like a toast.
Yeah.
And it was the first time that David realized that she had been undercover all along.
Oh, he got and good.
That's why she said brilliant idiot.
Yeah.
Brilliant idiot.
With an extra helping of idiot.
Man.
Mm-hmm. I'd say bright idiot.
Yeah.
Brilliant is like, I think that's the guilt. That's the guilt and the I got to know him.
If she would have gotten to know him in different circumstances, like not part of a sting, yada, 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 I don't think she ever would have dated David West for real.
No.
Or had slept with him.
No, she would have been repulsed. At some point.
But she would have been his friend.
Yeah.
She probably would have been on the extremely short list of platonic female friends that he had, and she would probably be the only female friend that he had that he actually respected.
Yeah.
And wasn't just trying to fuck.
Yeah.
And I think that's what made her feel a little wonky.
Yeah.
Because she could feel, yes, she was lying about the romance, but she did feel a genuine friendship with him.
Good at her job.
I mean, that has to be weird. That has to be the difficult part.
That's why not everyone can do it.
Yeah, like, even Donnie Brasco, whose real name, I think, is lost to witness protection. But the real Donnie Brasco, not Johnny Depp.
Yes.
Even he said, and he was undercover with the mob for, like, 10 years or something.
That's a long stint.
Like, he was undercover for, like, some ridiculous amount of time.
Those relationships are real.
And he was saying that when he got the word that his assignment was up and that the FBI, that everybody was coming in, were taking him down, and they ended his assignment because the people that he was with were putting him in actual danger, like they were setting him up to do a hit for real, so that he could be a made guy for real. And Joe Pistone, that was his...
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember if... No, Joe Pistone is the real name. Donnie Brasco is the fake name. But Joe Pistone could actually also be another fake name, because Homeboy is in witness protection. So we really don't know his actual name.
Yeah.
But the name that he lets us use is Joe Pistone.
Yeah.
And he tried to get the FBI to let him stay in, because he wanted to be the first made FBI agent. That's how long he had been in.
Yeah.
And he was trying to figure out a way to, like, fake this guy's death and make it look like he had done it and keep this guy in protective custody and do all of this.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, there's no way for us to do that. We've got to pull you out. And he knew he only had, like, a couple of weeks before the rest of all the arrests and everything went down. And in that couple of weeks, he tried really hard to pull Lefty, who was his main guy that he was surveilling.
Yeah.
He tried really hard to get Lefty to just run.
Aww.
He was like, you got X amount of money, I'll help you, because Lefty had this dream of buying a yacht.
Yeah.
And sailing around the world type shit. And he was like, I'll help you get the boat.
Yeah.
I'll help you do the thing. I got money. You got money. He was really trying to help Lefty escape.
Yeah.
And Lefty just wouldn't do it. because he was just an old school mafia guy that's just like, no, this is my shit.
Yeah.
He never told him why he wanted him to go so badly.
Yeah.
But he did say that he was sincere when he was trying to get Lefty to run.
Yeah.
And he was completely prepared to get fired and take whatever he got for letting Lefty escape and be like, sorry, I couldn't nail this guy, but I gave you these other 75 people. Right? He was completely ready to do that. So there is definitely truth to, like, when you're undercover, especially for long periods of time. Mm-hmm. I mean, Kim was like 3 months is a long time, but not.
Yeah.
Joe Pistone was undercover for like 8 years or some dumb shit like that. And so I bet the relationships that they form are real.
Yeah. I mean, they have to be in order for the person being surveilled to be convinced.
Yeah. And so she feels a little bad.
Oh, well, she earned it.
Yeah.
She's a good person.
Like, she's a human. She's a decent human, and a decent human would feel bad that you set up your friend.
Yeah.
So in the interview room, David tried to start things friendly enough by complimenting Kim's PI skills. Hey, that woman you put on me, she's good.
Yeah.
Never saw her coming. And they're like, oh, Kim? And he looks at him like, who the fuck is Kim? Oh, Teresa.
Yeah.
Because I use Kim through all of this. I'm not switching names back and forth.
Right.
But David knew Kim as Teresa. Mm-hmm. So when they're like, yeah, Kim's really good, he's like, who the fuck is Kim? Oh, Teresa. But inside, he was kicking himself for talking so much, for getting too comfortable.
Yeah.
For falling for this honey trap.
You fool.
But he was also smug enough to believe that he was still too smart to be done in by a cop, and held out hope that some of Kim's feelings for him had been real. Mm. He still he would, if he could get out right now, his first order of business would be to talk to Kim. Mm. And see if they could salvage their relationship.
Yeah.
If they were just to let him go, that would be the first thing that he did. Mm. We need to start this over. I still care about you. Yeah. I still want you. But now I have to get to know the real you, Teresa.
Kim.
Right. But that's where he's at with it.
Yeah.
He really needs to believe that she cared about him. on some level.
Yeah.
Slowly, David realizes that not only was Kim a PI, she had to have been wearing a wire during their whole relationship.
Basically, no wonder I never got action.
Then he was like, and then she kept getting me drunk so that I could talk. God damn it.
She got me.
But you know what? If you let him out right now, he would try to salvage it with her.
Oh my God. True love.
He is that much of a sad sack.
After Cindy, anyone would seem like an absolute angel. So don't blame him.
No, not only that, but she speaks military.
Yeah.
And is still feminine.
Yeah.
She's hot in an Anglo-Germanic kind of way. Ugh. Like,
I know.
It's weird that, he got set up by his girlfriend.
Yeah, who ticked all the boxes.
And he's going to go to jail for life. But he's really sitting here thinking, but could I salvage this?
Yeah. She was so convincing. She must like me.
The cops told David that they weren't going to make him any deals.
Yeah.
But they did want to be able to tell the DA that he had cooperated. Mm-hmm. So they're like, look, call Cindy. We're going to listen in. See if you can get her to confess. Mm. David asked for a lawyer, but he's still in disbelief. He thought that he had done such a good job covering his tracks that there was no way the cops could pin the Campbell murders on him. Mm-hmm. Since David didn't believe the cops, they called in the assistant district attorney. Yeah. Come.
Yes.
Talk to him. Give him the lay of the land. And when the ADA came in, I've been watching too much Law & Order, the ADA. Hey, they've been going deep cuts in like those first like 10 seasons where Law and Order SVU was actually like kind of compelling.
Yeah, before it got like almost like Dadaist and absurd.
Yeah. You know, before they started making Olivia Benson date the people that have been the bane of her existence for the first half of the series.
And none of us wants it because that's not Stabler.
Right? With the longest will they want. You know, they even do that shit in public. I was watching some like random red carpet thing because I think one or both of the Law and Orders are having a season premiere or something is coming up.
Sounds about right.
And, you know, because Christopher Maloney has Law and Order Mafia.
Something like that. Violent crimes?
Whatever, yeah. Something. Mafia. He does the Mafia shit.
Yeah.
And then Mariska Hargitay still has SVU. And then I think there's one, just the regular one.
No, I think that ended, actually.
Oh, so it's just the two.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of their premieres, or both of their premieres, are getting ready to go down. And there was like a red carpet thing. And Christopher Maloney's standing there looking like the fine piece of Italian marble that he is.
Yes.
And he put his arm out just to the side.
Yeah.
And out of nowhere, Mariska Hargitay just materialized into his arms. And they just took pictures together. I was like, God damn it. The chemistry is real.
It is. It is so real there. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure we've mentioned it before. There is a 7-hour YouTube video essay about every moment in their relationship over like the 50 years the series has been on.
Yeah, 50 years, 7 hours.
Every like sigh and like look.
Every will they, won't they.
Exactly. It's amazing. It's
all
amazing.
the way down to like when Sharon Stone was the guest DA and she confesses to being Elliot's old partner and that they did flocka. And Olivia's appalled because she would never.
He's willing to do it.
It is the longest will they, won't they, and I don't even think they have.
I
quit watching.
I don't want them to.
I quit watching by that point. Like,
we all just like the will they, won't they. To suffer.
Honestly, when Law & Order comes on, I don't watch any of the new episodes. I don't care about the new shit.
Yeah, I don't think I've watched anything that's happened past 2010.
But sometimes when I'm bored, maybe a little bit stoned, and there's nothing else on the TV, and the USA Network got a marathon going on, which
they always do.
When do they not have a Law and Order marathon going on? If I check into a Law and Order marathon, it's like seasons 1 through 15. Your girl's gonna watch. Your girl is gonna watch the classic episodes. Yeah. Ice-T had a ponytail.
Yeah.
Richard Belzer was still alive.
Yeah.
Captain Kragen was a thing.
Yes.
Tamara Toomey was the medical examiner.
Back at when it was right, when it was correct.
That was like Olivia used to fuck the chaos guy from the insurance commercials.
Yeah, that's right.
I forgot that he was even in that.
Yeah,
like one day was like I turned it on, I was like, oh fuck, I forgot he was on the show.
Yeah.
That was a deep cut.
Truly.
So when the ADA comes in, he told David, I'm not gonna take your statement. Matter of fact, I don't want you to say shit. I don't want your lawyers or a jury to think that a statement was cooperation and then they're going to end up being a go-between for me giving you the needle. I'm trying to kill you, boy. I'm trying to kill you. I'm trying to kill you dead. Yeah. And if I take your statement, somebody might think that you cooperated and you don't need to die.
Yeah.
I'd like to kill you.
Exactly. You said you'd rather be dead than in jail. I agree.
I can oblige.
We can make that happen.
So the ADA was like, I don't want your statement. Don't say shit to me. Nah. It'll stop me from killing you.
Yeah. And we don't want that.
And I would really like to kill you. The ADA did tell David that the only offer on the table is the opportunity not to go down alone. That's all I got for you, son.
Dang.
I'm gonna kill you no matter what.
Yeah.
But you don't have to die alone.
Yeah.
You won't die alone. Cindy's here with you. Though you're far apart. stick a needle in your heart. Yeah, so that's all he's gonna get. I died. I live, I die.
I know.
When he's like, I want you dead.
Yeah. You killed an elderly couple while they were sleeping in bed. Buddy, there's one place for you.
Yeah.
And we want to send you there quick.
Yeah, so don't talk.
Yeah.
Please, God, tell me nothing. I don't think I've ever heard a district attorney that wasn't willing to horse trade.
Yeah. That is savage.
David refused to make the call. Fair. And after the assistant DA left, the cops came back in to tell David they were disappointed to learn that a guy like him was ruled by pussy.
You're weak. And easily influenced.
Hey, Cindy had used the power of the puss.
She did. Very effectively.
To get him to kill her parents.
Mm-hmm.
And now Kim had used the power of the puss.
Yeah.
Not even the power of the puss, the promise.
The promise of the puss.
Promise of the puss. Unlike Cindy, who gave up the puss more than a few times.
Yeah.
Kim, he ain't see a hair.
Yeah.
A landing strip, a whiff, a sniff, a feel. Nothing.
No.
Never saw it.
Yeah.
He just had to assume it was there.
Yeah.
Because she wasn't going to give him that. And the power of the promise of pussy got you to confess to murder.
Yeah.
We thought you were better than that. We thought you were a Marine. We thought you were a man.
But obviously, you're not.
Puss.
Yeah.
David is smug and silent through most of the interview. He's dying inside.
Yeah.
Those power of the puss comments are getting to him.
Yeah. Because he's putting up that front, though.
Because he thinks he's above that type of shit.
Yeah.
But clearly, you're not.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be having this conversation, and I wouldn't have had an episode for the last 4 weeks.
But that had to be mentally devastating for him, because he did believe that Cindy was, like, in his control. She's too dim and too stupid. I've got this figured out. She's simple. No, dude. She rode you
hard.
to glory.
And rode you hard to glory and put you away wet and dead.
Yeah. Gave you nothing.
Man, no money, no more puss.
Yeah.
Fitful sleep.
I know, right? Nothing.
Guilt. Like, she gave you nothing good.
Yeah.
Oh, she left him with plenty. Guilt.
Yeah.
Rage.
Yeah. Sleepless nights.
Yeah, she left him with plenty, but none of it was good.
Disappointment.
Right? So the whole time he's sitting in this interview, David's inner monologue is like, oh yeah, they're tough and talking tough now, but how tough would these guys be if they had to go one-on-one with me? David Duvall.
Oh, I think they're dying for an opportunity.
He would be a smudge.
Yes.
Like, just like that assistant district attorney would just like to kill him.
Yeah. Because it's one thing when you're, like, starting street fights with drunk people or people who are not prepared and unaware. Here you are in a room full of professional assholes.
With guns.
Exactly. And they would love an opportunity.
And I would say that most cops, not all, got hands.
Yeah.
Decent ones.
I would hope so. That seems like part of the job.
I mean,
like, you should know some hand-to-hand.
So David asked the cops if they had listened to the tapes, because if they had, they would know how horrible Cindy's parents were.
Yeah.
Moral murder.
Yes. Most moral.
The cops corrected and they said, we got the tapes. And we listened. And the tapes proved what you thought about Cindy's parents. And the lies that you believe have no basis in reality. Oh, David insisted that the stories were true.
Yeah.
He's like, but what about this and what about that?
Yeah.
One cop told David that if he had a daughter that was as nasty as Cindy, he would lock the bitch in the bathroom too, and then he would get a scrub brush.
Yeah.
He would lock her in the bathroom and take a scrub brush to her.
Yeah.
Because David said, and her parents locked her in the bathroom. Yeah.
Who wouldn't?
She's nasty.
Yeah. You've met her.
If she won't wipe her own ass and bathe, I was her parent, I would lock her in a bathroom and I would hose that bitch down.
Yes.
And throw her on the ground and forcibly scrub her like a naughty puppy.
Yes.
She will learn how to get a bath in this house, bitch. Yeah. Just like how you can, like, dogs and cats don't like to get a bath either, but if you hold them down, you can teach them it ain't that bad.
Yes.
They will give you that sad look. And when their fur is wet and they look all skinny, you're gonna feel a little bit bad. But you know it was for the best.
It was.
And that's how you have to deal with Cindy as a parent. She's a naughty puppy.
Yes.
She needs to be bathed.
Dirty puppy.
David tried his best to keep his stony silence. Mm-hmm. But a lot of his bravado went away when the cops brought in the tapes and he could hear how fucking dumb he sounded confessing to Kim while also trying to get laid.
That is a lot of humiliation.
David is suffering a ego death that is so horrible that the only equal I can think of is Hulk Hogan getting booed on Netflix Raw.
Just booed to the rafters.
But I feel like the kind of ego death that it feels like you're dying.
Yeah, you're at your own funeral. For real, for real.
You actually would prefer death.
Yeah.
To this.
It would hurt less.
But he told himself, no, don't talk. Don't let them know that you're experiencing ego death.
Stay tough. Stay tough.
You gotta stay tough out in the world to make your dreams happen. Ooh, that was an old Motley Crue song. That's deep.
Yeah,
deep.
Very deep cut.
That was a super deep cut. Even for me. But that all changed when one cop said that they had heard he had abused Cindy's kids. He's done. He's like, oh, fuck you. I never touched those kids. Bullshit. Blah, 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 blah. He is going off.
Yeah.
It's one thing to be accused of murder.
Yeah.
There is another thing to experience ego death. Mm-hmm. It's another thing to be accused of being a sad pussy hound.
Yes.
But abusing... no.
Yeah. You did it.
Sir, take it back.
He did it.
6 of one, half dozen of the other. Like... He was only with the kids for 48 hours.
Yeah. That's a lot. That's enough time.
He shook the shit out of one.
That absolutely
and he gave
counts.
the other one a spanking for not eating. You know what? If David was a different type of person, we wouldn't have called it abuse. A kid's not eating, depending... We're talking about like the early 80s here. Kid isn't eating his food. He's giving you a hard time. A couple of swats. Pop, pop. Yeah. Go eat your dinner. Normal.
Only in the 80s.
Then, that was very normal. Your kid's crying, you won't shut up. What's wrong with you, little Bill? Yeah. Like, if he was a different person in different circumstances, the things that he did to those children probably would not have been considered abuse. But he killed their grandparents.
In front of them.
And now the cops are fucking with him.
Yes.
But yeah, that was the last straw for David. You can arrest him for murder, but you will not offend his delicate sensibilities by calling him a child abuser. And then David was double offended when it seemed that the cops didn't believe him when he said that he had never hurt Michael and Matthew. David tried to explain how he had spanked one of the boys to make him eat his dinner, and that is not abuse. It is because it's you. Yeah. Normal parents, I'd be like, don't do that. That's not the best way to handle it. But the kid's gonna live. Yeah. The cops trapped David in a logic puzzle. Yeah. Yes. So they were like, okay, David, spank the kid because he wouldn't eat. Since the boys didn't eat, David felt that he had the moral authority to spank them. And because the Campbells were mean to Cindy, he felt that he had the moral authority to kill them. David said that he didn't do it, but the Campbells deserve their fate. Yeah, logic puzzle. Yeah. Like, really? You just think you just got the moral authority to just go around hitting and killing and doing whatever you want.
Yeah.
Oh, well, nuh-uh. But they deserved it.
Dude.
The cops asked David if they should be looking for Cindy.
Mm-hmm.
They told him straight out, we got you.
Yeah.
We know for sure you did it.
Yep.
But we're not going to go harass this fat, stinky heifer if she didn't actually do anything.
Yeah.
So if this was all like your idea and you did it by yourself because you're that pussy drunk, just tell us and we're going to leave that fat lady alone.
Yeah. Life goes on. Obla-dee, obla-da.
Right? But yeah, David was like, yeah, you should go get her. After the interview, David was taken to a holding cell where he was able to call his parents from a payphone. When he called his parents, he asked them both to pick up the line. Wow. Duvall answered first. He was like, go get mom, have her pick up the extension. Duvall's like, well, your mother is sleeping. He's like, this is important, Daddy. Go get her. Mm-hmm. Duvall goes and wakes up Cecilia. And David told both of his parents he was in jail. He had been arrested for the murder of Cindy's parents. And he needed a lawyer. He also told his parents that the cops are looking for Cindy as well. Mm-hmm. Early the next morning, a warrant was issued for the arrest of Cindy Campbell Ray.
Yay!
The cops went over to Cindy's house and kept an eye on the apartment. Because she lived on such a small street, they didn't want to just raid, you know, freaking people out.
Yeah.
And honestly, she's not David. She does not have weapons to bear.
No.
The only thing she got...
Just chemical weapons.
Right. You know, the funk.
Yeah.
And so, also because it's a small street, Cindy's housekeeper recognized the undercover car as an undercover cop car.
Yeah.
So the housekeeper just went over to the cops. Hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
And they said, hey, we're looking for Cindy Campbell. Is she home? Housekeeper's like, well, she's not home yet, but she will be here soon. Are you looking for her? What's going on? And they're like, yeah, we are looking for her. And we're planning to arrest her. Mm-hmm. And Cindy's housekeeper was like, all right, that's cool.
Yeah.
But can you do me a solid and wait until she pays me for the week?
Nice.
Before you do your thing? And the cop said, yeah, bet, get your money.
Yeah. Get
your money up. They were not pressed. They told that bitch to get her money up.
Worker solidarity, I tell you.
Cindy came home after a few hours and she had put on 80 pounds.
Wow. She deserves it.
Again,
her knees hurt.
I think the murders weighed on her more than she will ever let on.
Yeah.
Because she just seems to just go, bleh.
Yeah.
After that shit. I mean, yeah, she's still a greedy bitch, yada, 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 yada.
But I think there was buyer's remorse.
Yeah, but she never took care of herself.
Yeah.
But she is at a level of not taking care of yourself that is shocking even for her.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I guess, much like David, this did not feel the way she thought it was going to feel.
No.
This did not give her what she was hoping to get.
And unlike David, she is still just, callous enough to be like, well, I got my money.
Yeah.
And, she's keeping herself comforted by her thousands of dollars. She's a thousandaire.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she's blowing through that quick.
Oh, yeah.
Hiring housekeepers and shit.
Yeah.
Well, at least somebody's clean and fun.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good move, actually.
Yeah.
She does a lot of stupid shit, but that's a good move.
When Cindy was arrested, she swore she didn't do anything. Oh, we go straight to Shirley Temple.
Yeah, I could just blubbering.
What? I didn't do anything.
I don't understand.
When she was
happening.
arrested, a friend of hers was with her, and he swore that he was gonna get Cindy a lawyer. At first, Cindy wouldn't talk, but the cops said they didn't need her to talk because David had already ratted her out. This sent Cindy back into her little girl Shirley Temple acts.
Yeah.
But nobody's buying it.
Yeah.
During questioning, Cindy kept up the little girl act, all while swearing she didn't do anything. And she refused to believe that David snitched on her.
Yeah.
She's got him wrapped around her stinky little finger.
Yeah. She did.
But she changed her tune when the cops brought David into the interview room.
No, that's unusual. I watched a lot of interrogation videos. That is an unusual step.
It is unusual, but I think it was effective.
Yeah.
Because if they would have just played the tapes, she would have accused them of doctoring something, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
But if they got the man in the flesh, in an orange jumpsuit, handcuffed, there's no getting around the reality.
Told them everything, Cindy.
Yeah, there's no reality of getting away from the reality of the situation. Before David was taken to the interview room to see Cindy, he was dealing with the moral quandary that is called Kim. Did she think that she was going after a cold-hearted killer?
Oh, yeah.
If so, then she didn't really know David at all. But then David decided that Kim was a slut for setting him up and pretending that she cared. Whore. Slut. Whore, slut, pig.
As night follows day, a disappointed man falls on slut. Whore. Why don't you love me? Slut.
You know, her being a slut has nothing to do with you killing people, sir.
I know, right?
I have no idea if Kim Paris is a slut or not.
I know.
But
this is more about his ego death.
Oh, yeah. The ego death is continuing. I think it lasts for days.
Yeah.
It was like a slow, painful death. When David was brought into the interview room, David saw Cindy was crying and listening to the tapes. And then she looked up and goes, David, is it really you? That's what I'm saying. If they would have just played it.
Yeah.
She just would have said, you lie.
Yeah.
You make that up.
Yeah.
That's not David.
This is incompatible with my reality.
Right. David admitted to Cindy that it was him on the tapes. David told Cindy that he was screwed, but she should keep her trap shut and get a lawyer and do what the lawyers tell you. As they spoke, the cops came back into the room and put pictures of the crime scene on the table. David is shook. He killed those people, but he didn't stick around.
Yeah.
All that bravado about, oh man, why wasn't the funeral open casket? I wanted to see my handiwork. When he really, 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 really did see it. All this time, he had thought of the Campbells as just targets.
Yeah.
He had assigned no real humanity to them.
No, he couldn't.
And the horrible images of their deaths made him see them as human.
Yeah.
For the first time, he realizes he has taken human life. He has destroyed a family. This is nasty work.
Yeah.
He shot James through the eye.
I know.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
And this is the first time he realizes what a fucked up thing he did.
Yeah.
As David sat in quiet contemplation, you know, he's an atheist, but he's trying to figure out what he can do for his immortal soul.
Yeah.
Cindy looked at the pictures blankly. In efforts to shame Cindy and David into giving up more information, the cops wondered out loud, what? David, my guy, come here. What did you see in a fat, stinky, 12 sandwich eating back roll, cheesy,
back rolls,
cheesy twat, greasy, moron.
Yeah, mean too. Mean moron.
What is here?
Yeah.
What?
You for her for this?
And then they kept calling Cindy a disgusting pig. No, David felt embarrassed for Cindy because she's just sitting there blank, just
Yeah.
Somebody feel bad and rescue me out of this.
Right.
Which is what she always does, right?
Yeah.
She either screams and hollers or puts on a really pathetic face, and somebody rushes in to rescue her.
Yep.
One of the two is always going to work when somebody.
This is how life just works for her.
And for once, nobody's buying it. And David feels bad for her. He's embarrassed for her.
Wow.
Because they're calling her all sorts of disgusting, greasy pigs.
Yeah.
And she won't defend herself. She just sits there. And she absorbs it. And on the one hand, the part of him that's still sort of invested in her as a project is like, don't they realize how bad her self-esteem is? Yeah. They're making it so much worse for her.
Yeah.
But again, when they asked David what he had seen in Cindy, all he could do was softly choke out, well, she had been beautiful once.
Wow. Once.
That's all he could give him.
Wow.
But that's like he knows there's no way out.
Yeah.
He may as well answer what.
Yeah. He's fucked. Yeah.
Yeah. The cops laughed at David saying Cindy had been beautiful. They laughed dead ass in his face and hers.
That is funny. I mean, if that's all I knew of her, I would cackle too. And they probably needed a laugh badly.
Yes. I'm sure they had seen pictures of her in her various weights and cleanliness.
Yeah.
But I think it's just to fuck with both of them.
Yeah.
They were going to break them one way or another. He said he couldn't do anything about David couldn't do anything about these cops all handcuffed, but he thought that the way they were taunting Cindy to her face was just cruel.
Well, it wasn't kind. Yeah.
He's really, morally offended. He's like, she has got self-esteem issues.
Yeah.
Quit it.
Yeah.
He really did feel that the talking shit to her is cruel and unusual punishment.
Yeah.
He's sitting there like, I get it. He's not saying anything, but his inner monologue, he's like, I get it.
Yeah.
We're caught. You don't have to be mean to her like that.
Yeah.
You got her.
Yeah.
Just be happy. I think this is how they show their happiness.
Yeah, probably.
And then that's when David told the cops that he had loved Cindy then. And when he's completely honest with himself, he was still in love with her.
Oh my God, what a sad sack.
Take that, Kim. He's in love with another woman. He's in love with Cindy. Yeah.
Kim's like, thank God.
Kim is like, whatever, boo.
Yeah. Just forget about me.
It's like, not even thank God. It's like, whatever.
I would just forget me.
Just go. Just go away. David was taken back to his cell where he wondered how long he would have to fend off jailhouse rapists.
God.
To which I remind David Duvall West that you are not that cute.
But
You're not that special. True. And there are plenty of attractive gay men that are giving it up willingly. Nobody needs to risk extra time just to fuck you, sir.
Right. But I do enjoy his discomfort.
I mean, that's fine.
Yeah.
I just think it's delusional.
Yes.
No, there's...
Spend the rest of your life being nervous about that.
It's almost like when, what's his name? The German guy. Hans.
What?
The case of the German kid that we did a while back.
Oh, God.
And now his name just flew out of my head.
Yeah, I know who you mean.
He was afraid of rape, too.
That's right.
To which, again, I say, you ain't that cute. You ain't that special. There are plenty of people willing.
Yeah, don't believe everything you see on TV.
Relax, son.
Yeah.
Relax. Nobody wants your bus.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody clocking for that bony-ass pussy. Anyway. He knew that for now, he had his parents' support.
Mm-hmm.
But David also knew that the longer he was in jail, they would have to come to terms with what he actually did.
Yes.
His parents were in a little bit of a denial.
Yeah.
He didn't have a very long conversation. It was just I did it. They're looking for Cindy. I need a lawyer. Click.
Yeah.
But he knows he's going to have more in-depth conversations with them. And over time, and they're going to go into denial about it, because nobody wants to believe that shit.
Yeah.
But eventually they're going to have to face the facts.
Yeah.
And he knew that eventually they were going to have to turn their backs on him.
Oh. Well, I guess he feels that way. Not every parent's going to, though.
I'm going to side with David on this and say that he knows his parents
That's true.
well enough to say they will. Maybe not right away.
Yeah.
But in time, they're just going to leave him to rot. And honestly, he doesn't blame them. You know, he doesn't like the thought of his parents sitting around missing him, wondering where they went wrong. How did he come to this? Yada, yada, yada. Like...
Yeah, that little scrap of humanity he has.
And that last one, like, the thought of his parents, you know, in their parents' grief, trying to figure out what their role was in this, how had they fucked up so phenomenally that their boy went out and killed 2 people.
Yeah.
That last bit broke his heart. Because he's a fucked up person, but he loves his parents.
Yes.
As complicated as those relationships are.
Yeah. He wasn't good at relating to them, but yeah. But he wanted their love and approval bad.
And he knew that, you know, he was like, this was all his doing. And he didn't want his parents to shoulder any guilt for his decisions. And so I think he's preparing himself to be like, no, for real, I did it. There's nothing that you can do. These are my decisions. Yeah. And he's preparing for them to walk away eventually.
Okay.
In the end, David's lawyers convinced him to plead guilty and testify against Cindy.
Good.
Cindy's first trial would end in a hung jury. It was a lot of up the stairs, down the stairs, up the stairs, down the stairs. And it was a hung jury because they were unsure about how deep Cindy's involvement was.
Okay, I can see that.
Did she really go? Did she not go?
Yeah.
How involved was she? Did she just sit in the car and David did it all?
Yeah. We're taking the word of a murderer. Yeah.
And the physical evidence against Cindy compared to David is so scant.
Yeah.
They're never able to find the gun because it was thrown into a body of water. But like when they interview his friend Wiki, they know what exactly kind of gun that he sold him.
Nice.
So it really all points to David.
Yeah.
Right? And that's how she got a hung jury. But second trial, Cindy is roundly and soundly convicted.
Yay.
And sentenced to life during her second trial.
Oh, good.
After her conviction, Cindy would apply for parole 3 times. Each time was denied.
Yay.
And she died in prison of natural causes in 2021.
Oh, wow.
She was 65.
Hey. Just about her parents' age.
Basically. And she took all that life.
Yeah.
She lived just to the point where she cut them off.
Yeah.
David is still with us.
Oh.
He is, like 67?
Yeah.
Ish. 68, maybe. He came up for parole in 2005. But he either never applied or he just didn't go to his hearing. And he is serving his time quietly. There's really nothing to say.
Yeah.
He took his lumps.
Yeah.
And he's just doing his time.
Yeah.
The boys go on to live with Uncle J-Dub.
Yay.
They're close with their aunties and their cousins.
That's good.
They don't talk about it much, but Michael is interviewed in a local article in Austin, or Houston, and they ask him about that night, and he remembers it, but he describes it as a scar.
Yeah.
It's there. It'll always be there.
Yeah.
But in time, it's not as painful.
Yeah. And you don't think about it.
As the original wound.
Yeah.
And that was the case of Cindy Campbell Ray.
Man.
and David Duvall West.
Man, just the lunacy. These strange, selfish weirdos who find each other. I don't know. I just feel like if they had a hobby, if these people,
you know what?
like if you give them a furry suit, anything, just find your tribe.
You know what? Cindy had a hobby, being a fuck shit. That was her hobby. The only thing that brought her joy was fucking people out of money, stealing shit, being a general nuisance.
Yeah.
That was her hobby.
Yeah. She's just a garbage person.
David needed to find some self-esteem.
And unfortunately, he found Cindy.
Right? She can pick him, though.
Yeah.
She can pick him. She saw him at that quad. It was like, Mark.
Yeah. She is truly a predator.
She was like, oh, your name is David? I thought your name was Mark.
Yeah.
And on that note, I have been Samara.
And I have been Jeannie.
Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe.
Give us fuel for the algorithm.
And we will see you next week on another episode of
Talk Deadly to Me.
Boop, 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 boop.